I'm going to move your papers temporarily over here. Don't forget. Hi, I'm Jim Sassaman. I'm a novelist. I'm also a singer, and I spend my weeks in the nightclub scene. And I followed a lot of musical acts in my time, but I never followed a dude by the name of Knuckles. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna be bragging about that. Hey, I follow this Knuckles cat. I mean, hey, I saw him give lip to this other guy with a trench coat. Now, a few words about Gary Zaker. I had the privilege of meeting Gary 4 years ago, who told me to join a group, so I picked out Gary Z. And he had a Noir at a bar scheduled for the bustling metropolis of Westchester. And he said, this is Noir, do you write Noir? Oh, no. He said, what kind of characters you got in your book? I said, well, I got gangsters, I got burlesque queens, and I got blue sniffers. He said, you're in. All right? Blue sniffers are people too. They have feelings. All right. This scene is self-explanatory, so I don't have to explain anything. All right, let's do it. As I walk past the coach light tonight, I hear loud talking and laughing, dominating all sound coming from the bar except for Redbone singing, "Come and Get Your Love." Now I take my old spot near the wooden fence where I can see people in Dempsey still buying papers at this time of night. But I'm really here on the off chance that Fatty shows up. That moment is now, as I see the Black Riviera making its way around the Dempsey's parking lot. From the fence, I can see Fatty checking out the parked cars and anybody who might be hanging outside Dempsey's. He sees me, but he doesn't know who I am, and he just keeps looking around. Now I see him talking, and I'm guessing that he has a passenger, but it's not until his Riviera makes its way around the back of the parking lot that I can tell that his passenger is not his gun mom, but not one of his henchmen who sometimes ride around with him. No, it's none other than Buckshot, with his frizzy shoulder-length hair bouncing outward in all directions. Fatty has a red light. Instead of stopping at the light, Fatty makes a three-point turn, backs right in between me and the wooden fence. Now parked and facing the diner, Fatty shuts off his engine and just sits there, watching the goings-on inside Dempsey's. This is perfect. I knock on the passenger side window. Both of them look over at me. Fatty hits the power window button from the passenger side, which causes Buckshot to start shivering. "Cold out there, ain't it?" Fatty says. "Yeah, Fatty. You heard about this dude in town who wants to make a movie about Dempsey's Diner?" "Yeah, who is it?" "The me. I'm the dude. I'm Slim." "Get in. Get in out of the cold. Buckshot getting back." Buckshot vacates his seat, and I pull the seat back down to allow him room to jump in the back of the coupe. Once I'm in front, Fatty says, "Now, tell me what this is all about," as he folds his hands and rests them on his paunch. "Fatty, I've been coming down here night after night for the past 2 years. I'm here after I leave second shift at the Blair plant. Before that, I'd come down after cleaning up that oil mess on the Schuylkill River. I'll be heading back to college next year. But here's the way I look at things, Fatty. I don't care what happens on your college campuses. I don't care what happens in your places of business. I don't care what happens in your sports arenas. All I care about is what happens on the street." Fatty's taking all this in, nodding his head in agreement. And I continue with, "That's the kind of film I want to see made. I'm interested in what you think about what goes on down here. I remember when you last got out of jail. People down here kept talking about Fatty's back in town, Fatty's back in town. From the back seat, we hear Buckshot attempt at repeating this line, Fatty's back in town. Fatty ignores Buckshot's famous stuttering and focuses on the police car, which has just stopped at the red light in front of us. The cop never sees Fatty pointing his right index finger at him, and he says, "Let me tell you something, Slim. This town is so fucked up, that's the reason. All of them, especially that DeWitt, the detective." I see DeWitt cruising around his unmarked car. Heard him speak for the first time last night at the police station after the coach light raid. "You got popped too?" "Me and my gal Ollie." DeWitt was joking with the other cops how he was happy that they pulled the raid so that he could pull in more overtime. Don't believe a word he says. DeRitt works overtime for nothing. That's what they tell me. He must be doing it for nothing. I don't see how they keep paying him around the clock. The dude spends all his free time going after me. Let me tell you something else. Everybody thinks I killed that kid Dwayne. I hardly even knew him. I never bought nothing off him, never sold nothing to him. Then the cops come around and try to tell me that I killed him. I hardly even knew him. Fatty's looking over right at me, and he says this when we hear some rapping on the driver's side window, and we can see that it's Harpo, who asks, after Fatty buzzes the window down, "Fatty, can I cop some monster from you?" "I can't sell anything to you, you're too young." After he buzzes the window back up, Fatty says, "I do speed and I do junk. I never sold anybody any heroin. I sold a lot of speed, but never any junk." Now he's silent, looking down at his steering wheel. Until after a pause, still focused on the steering wheel, "When I think of the guy who first got me on..." "You get pissed off?" "Yeah," he answers, and then he changes the subject with, "What do these people say about me down here, Slim?" "They say there ain't a safe you can't crack, and you're good with a knife." "I never cut nobody. I shot a few motherfuckers, but I never cut nobody. People in the town think I'm rich. I ain't rich. I got hassles with my girl. And what keeps you here?" "State parole. But they can't make me leave, neither. Tell you what, Slim, we can talk. We'll get together, my man." After hearing that, I nod my head and open the door to step out. Outside the Riviera, I'm adjusting my white scarf under the lapels of my black leather jacket. Fatty buzzes the window back down and says, "Where you going? You walking?" Then to Buckshot, "Stay where you are. I'm heading to the Maria Santa. Wall boys, Park boys, Shamrocks having some big reunion. Get back in. I'll take you there." On our way over to the Italian club, Fatty tells me that he knows most of the Park boys. "I taught a lot of those guys how to fight. Down in Schuylkill Park, if any of them ask about me, just tell them Fatty says keep up your left." Fatty drops me off at the 2-story Art Deco building with Maria Assunta carved into the head door jamb, where I run up the steps and enter the vestibule and press a buzzer. A voice responds with yes, and I answer, "Wall boys, Park boys, Shamrocks." Immediately, I am buzzed in. And once through the door, I notice that the buzzing continues so that more guests behind me can enter through the same buzzing. Once upstairs in the banquet hall, I see 50-some Potts Hill hoods, some with their old ladies, all drinking, smoking, and laughing it up. This is a black leather jacket optional affair, and most of us are dressed for the occasion. Standing at the open bar, one of the gang members who came through the buzzer along with me places his hand on my shoulder and says to some other cats, "Guess who dropped Slim off?" He said, "Fatty Vaccaro. Gentlemen, this here's a college man who runs with Mac the Knife." That's it.